Today I'm going to talk a little bit about information flow, which again, we've talked about matching the word. So you've got your source word in Chinese, you've got your English word, match them. You've got a grammatical thing that expresses something, figure out a way to express it. You've got order of the sentences, order of the paragraphs, figure out a way to match it. We talked a little bit about coherence and cohesion and how important they are, and for Chinese to English, you tend to have to add in markers. I'm not convinced you do that in European languages to English, I don't know. But for Chinese to English, they're really difficult. In this video, I'm going to talk about the flow of information. So, I personally think this is somewhat overemphasized in a lot of textbooks, and I'm mainly thinking of, everyone knows this textbook, Mona Baker's, in other words. And when I say that, I mean from a perspective of Chinese to English, but it's definitely worth knowing and it's worth understanding. So, a passage will choose to disclose bits of information in a certain order. A certain word will go at the beginning of a sentence, another word will go in the middle, another word will go at the end, then you have the next sentence, the next idea. Now, sometimes that order is fixed because of linguistic restraints on the language. In other cases, the writer has chosen to display the information in that order for a reason. We need to try to match or understand the reason and reproduce it. But it may not be that we keep the same order in order to reproduce the kind of idea, the flow behind it. One of the ways I think best to kind of get your head around this. In English, if you want to say something, what you can do, you can say, the blue pen is here. 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 Just by raising my voice, the meaning of each of those sentences changed. You can't do that in many languages. You can't do that in Chinese. In Chinese, if you want to emphasize the color or what the thing is or where the thing is, you have to change the order of the sentence, or you have to use markers, or you may have to use passives, or you may have to start changing your grammatical rules in order to emphasize something. And that difference is one of the reasons why translating anything into English, you're going to be dealing with information flow issues of, okay, I want to put this concept first, I want to put this concept second. Just matching the flow of the source text will not necessarily make sense to your reader in your language. The source text is bound by rules that you are not bound by in your language. So A, you have to understand the rules they're playing by, and B, you have to understand the rules you have to play by. So some good exercises to do for information flow, especially if you're translating into English. Take a word. How would you rewrite a sentence to put that word in every part of the sentence? I want to make this the verb. Now I'm going to make it the adjective. Now I'm going to make it a noun. Now I want it to be the first thing the reader sees. Now I want it to be the last thing the reader sees in the sentence. So you could say, one of the ideas that comes up is cleft sentences, which I really think are worth understanding. It is your eyes that make me love you. It is the flowers that are lying on the floor. That's the closest thing we can do to putting is at the beginning of a sentence, whereas in Chinese it's really easy. You just say shi, ba, 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 and it makes sense. But yeah, experiment moving words around within a sentence. See how it changes the feel to the sentence. See how it changes what a reader's going to take away, and then sort of ask yourself, okay, does this feel match what the original felt like? If I match it or change it, is it going to guide the reader into the next idea, or is it going to kind of cut things off and confuse them? And remember, yes, it's true we want to make the closest equivalent we can, but we have to tread that line of, if you're too close and too equivalent, you're going to start losing these little subtle things. Like maybe an English writer would tend to put the information in a different order, and after a few paragraphs of that, it's going to just seem like, what, this feels weird, I can't understand it, and it's because the information is in a unexpected order, and it kind of triggers us if that's what translatees is, right? One of the things. So yeah, the order in which information is presented in a paragraph, in a page, or in a sentence, or over 20 pages, very important. We have to change it sometimes, we have to understand it, and it's something that I think technically it's one of the hardest things. Good exercise is to just choose a sentence and randomly move things around and see how they feel and see the impact that they have on the reader. All right, thank you very much. Good luck.